Welcome everybody, this is the Benjamin and you're watching Let's Play Xenogears, the greatest JRPG on Earth. We are approaching the conclusion of the game, and we saw that, the last episode was actually a big reveal, but actually a very positive thing, is that Faye's personalities, they hugged it out, they got over their issues, they came together. Faye had contact with the Wave Existence, which is an entity of a higher dimension that got stuck in Deus, and created Faye slash Lacan slash Kim as a means to get out of Deus. Basically, there's like a rebel part of Deus that wants to get out, and Faye was kind of his answer to it by giving him, multi-generational abilities and superpowers and so forth. But then it turns out that even after this great coming together of Faye and the unleashing of Xenogears, the greatest gear on Earth, turns out that his dad, Kan Wong, was actually infested by Grahf a while back. So now these two are finally having it out. The battle of all battles, Faye versus Grahf. Let's see how that goes. Last couple times it didn't really go so well for Faye, so maybe this time it'll be better. So we got the true Weltall, not doing nearly as much damage this time, even though Grahf is doing all of his signature attacks. But now you're going to get to see how awesome Xenogears is. And I'm hopefully going to be... If I remember this battle, I actually did try to get into hyper mode. So you probably didn't notice it, but there's the little thing that tells you about the percentage about getting into hyper mode. It's 99%. Yeah, that's a real thing. If you get to level 3 and you wait one turn, there is a 99 chance out of 100 that you'll go into hyper mode. So yeah, we're just gonna attack one more time, do the ding thing, and you can see that it's really cool because Xenogears, when he's basically in hyper mode, he does his wings light up. So here's Goat Next. It's gonna hurt like a crazy. Ba-boom. Doom. Just like a rolling explosion attack. So there's actually one attack that does slightly more damage that you hit with the X button that costs 30 fuel. And I'll be showing that off later. Because I don't think that you actually get it yet until after this battle. So the thing about Grahf is that, as you can see, he's really not that hard. He doesn't have that much HP. This is not like a signature difficult battle. After fighting Myong and Ramses, yeah, most of these battles are not that hard. So Grahf already fell down. Not so bad. Not so bad, right, Faye? Absolutely fine. So there we go. Is that the end of Grahf, though? Turns out that Grahf is not that easy to defeat. You're not Grahf, you're... Yeah. Faye's just like, yeah, you're a confusing blend of people. I'm not exactly sure how to deal with this. But maybe now we can convince Grahf to get on our side. That'd be awesome. Oh, crap. Damn it. Zohar's trying to get us to get sucked into Deus. Oh. Damn. So is Grahf gonna do like some heroic martyr thing and sacrifice himself so that Faye doesn't die? That'd be pretty ballsy of him. We'd appreciate that, Grahf, especially all that you've put us through. Right. So apparently what Grahf is saying is that even though Zohar wants to be with the contact, Grahf is imperfect because his body got separated from the contact a long time ago. But Faye, on the other hand, would be perfect to integrate. So, yeah. It's not the same dude. It's all up to Faye now. Faye can either join with Deus or defy him, destroy him, and release the Wave Existence. His purpose is clear. It's all up to Faye at this point. Although I think I know, I think it's pretty obvious at this point what Faye's going to decide to do. I think that if he wanted to merge with Deus, he probably already would have done so a while back. So, Yeah, we have to destroy the newly perfected Deus. So basically, it's not really explained, but the Zohar essence is absorbed into the newly created Deus, even though this is like the original device. It doesn't necessarily destroy it. Oh, so Ellie knows now too. So if we run into Ellie again, that means that she's gonna remember all this stuff that happened in the past too. Ooh, and when she was Myung, Jesus Christ, that's gotta be traumatic. I wouldn't want to remember being Myung like that, because Myung's done nothing but awful things. Oh. That's the last. This is kind of like Grahf, just before dying, decides, hey, Faye, maybe you have shown that there is some, you know, some goodness in humanity after all, and that destroying everybody probably isn't the way to do it. Well, guess that's that. Sorry, Graphy boy. I mean, you were a pain in the ass this entire game. And now... Oh, there's the pendant. That pendant's just been kind of bouncing around everywhere, hasn't it? That's so bizarre. Like, you never really know exactly where that pendant goes. Some interesting stuff. Well, now Faye is totally unified. He's had contact with the existence. He's no longer split personalities. And he knows everything, as you're going to see. He knows everything about everything. Huh. Now Faye's going to give him the world tour. This is where human life began. And of course, Faye knows all this because he was around for thousands of years. Yep. This much we knew. Planet crashed to Earth. Attached the Zohar modifier, yeah, just at the last minute before crashing. That single woman was Myung. Mother of humanity and part of, what is it, System Kadami. Bared several beings, yeah. Which were, yep, the ancestors of the whole humanity, which, as we explained, were the Emperor and the Gazelle Ministry, absolutely. So, yeah, gave replicas of herself. So that would be the human and the weapon. So this is what I meant by Myung and Ellie are both parts of the mother, so to speak. Yeah, so it's a little confusing. Faye's a little bit more easy to understand. And Faye/Abel was the sole survivor. And he was replicated many times because the Way of Existence wanted to release himself from Deus. Kadami. Also known as the computer program. It's both the same name. Yeah. Because Faye knows everything. He had contact with the Zohar. Yeah, most people can't transfer memories. But the contact can. And it's actually funny, they're kind of getting into, like, the biophysics of it. Which I'm not sure is totally necessary, but it's cool that they paid attention to detail. It's like, well, you know, there's signifiers in the DNA that can actually transfer memories. It's quite sophisticated. So, I mean, that can only really happen to the contact, and I guess Ellie and Myung. Those are the only three people that can do that, so to speak. Interesting stuff. And up there in that tube is the original Ellie, the mother. So. Right. So that was basically just a human. Supposedly. Yeah, so I guess that was the first human on Earth. Just kind of a rotting skull now, huh? And she was the one that gave birth to the Gazelle Ministry and the Emperor and so forth, and that's the story. So now we're kind of like... So this is such a weird game shift. So now, like, a lot of the major... Basically all of the major plot points have kind of been resolved. And now everybody's just like, okay, so what do we do? So, yeah. The whole thing is now we have to attack Deus directly because Deus is holding all the cards. But of course, as we know, it's protected in that giant arc in Merkava, is what it is. So, yeah. So C-Tan's pointing out that if we destroy this thing, nobody's going to be able to use gears or the ether anymore. We'll all have to go back to, you know, just walking around on foot. You know, doing tasks for ourselves. Manual labor. It's going to be terrible. No more automation. It's very Luddite, actually. If you guys don't know what the Luddites are, they were like a group of, they were basically a group of English revolutionaries in the 19th century that rebelled against machines and kind of industrial culture, and they would go out and sabotage and destroy machines. It was kind of interesting. Anyway, I got off track a little bit. C-Tan's explaining the whole thing. So, yeah, they were talking about how, remember, Myong said that they're going to destroy all of humanity after this, which is unfortunate. Yeah. What is it? Now he's going to say the quote. Where is it? Where's that quote? Yeah, the creations of God will someday become a hindrance. So, I mean, basically what Krelian and Myong want to do is reconstruct Deus and fly off and, like, go into the universe and start fucking shit up. Because the original intent of Deus was to be an interplanetary invasion system. A ultimate weapon of death and destruction. So one of the first things they'll have to do is destroy humanity, so we can't let that happen. And this is an interesting thing that's pointed out. I never quote resolved it, but basically what C-Tan is saying is that there's a little bit something different going on between Deus's original programming. And I think a lot of this has to do with nanomachines and Krelian kind of messing with it. So it seems like Krelian's got a very different agenda than Deus. So again, even at the very end of the game, which we're coming to, there's a conflict of agendas. There might be even a fracture between what Myong wants, the original will of Deus, and what Krelian wants. Who knows? Well, I know, but we're going to find out exactly what that means. But that's not really going to be discussed here. Yeah, because Phaedrus's like, either way, we got to take care of this thing. Yep. Gonna have to fight Deus. Achieve freedom. And destroy God. It's like we see in most JRPGs, but this one's just done a whole lot better. So now they're going to be getting into exactly how you approach this thing. And this is really interesting. Well, it's really fascinating, I should say. Because they really get into the nitty-gritty. And I'm not going to try to explain, like, every little bit of their attack plan. But it sounds really sophisticated when they do it. It sounds like they really know what they're talking about. Because Merkava's got a really long cannon that just blows everything up. As you saw, the thing that kind of just went across the Earth's surface and set everything on fire. That was quite terrifying, so they're all trying to figure out how to get through that. Yeah. All this good stuff. And the whole thing is everybody's like, well, you can't even get close to Merkava. I do like how we got, what's his name, Tora in here, too. And Mazon's, of course, standing there giving his sage advice over things. If you want to call it that. I love Mazon, though. It's too bad you never get to fight with him, but he's a great NPC. So this is all the technical details. Yeah, and now Siggy's just talking about how freaking powerful the Seraphs are. And you'll see, the Seraphs are not easy. They become a standard enemy in the last dungeon. And so you'll see just how annoying they can be. So. And Tora's just saying, yeah, well, you know, Xenogears, the new thing you got, has the ability to disintegrate Seraphs, so that's not really a problem. I've attached it with a way to split molecules in half. Nanomachines can break down the very fabric of any biomechanical being. So yeah, if you thought Xenogears was awesome last time, you should see it this time. It's going to be even better. Woo! Kill the Seraphs. The Seraphs are gonna die. Woo. Yeah. So now, Citan's like, where there's a will, there's a way. Let's look on the giant screen, the hologram. We'll map out the perfect battle plan. Because as we know, Citan is the master military planner. Even though all of his plans don't necessarily work out, sometimes they do. So yeah. What this all comes down to is they're trying to figure out a way to get like a very small window of opportunity to disable their defenses. And you'll see how this all plays out. There's a cutscene that's involved that's really kind of cool. And so if you're not getting all of the details here, that's perfectly okay. I've played this game like 6 or 7 times at this point, and I still don't understand every little bit of their plan. But, I mean, it's not a bad plan. Let's put it that way. And not everything goes as scheduled, but still. Alright. Gonna head into Merkava. Let's go right in. Hey, you know what? We've gone on suicide missions before. I think we're gonna be okay this time. I mean, all the shit we've survived, man. It's crazy. It's crazy all the shit we've survived. Now all we have to do is take out God and everything's gonna be okay. I have faith that Faye and crew, especially now that Faye's like together mentally, he's got ancient memories, he's got Xenogears. I mean, you can't stand against Xenogears. And now Faye, of course, right now is like an engineering expert too. He is now also a military strategist. Like before, he would just kind of stand there and kind of listen in. Like remember at the beginning of the game, like he'd be hearing all these great plans for like revolutions and sabotage, and he'd just be like, "Oh, okay." But now he's like just as smart, if not smarter than all of these people. It's kind of great what happens when you have ancient memories and all your personalities come together. You have Drizzle 4. Oh yeah. So yeah. It's kind of too bad though that like if you notice that Billy and Rico, they had like their moments of development in this game, and then they just kind of disappeared for a while. Like they haven't really said much in the last, I don't know, 2/5 of the game. Like Rico after his tiff with his father, the Kaiser, and Billy, of course, after his like, you know, departure from the ethos. We haven't really heard them say much. I mean, they talk every once in a while, but not as much as you had hoped. Alright, so here's their cunning plan. Which, from what I can understand, is to use a shield generator to get really, really close to the cannon, and then use Bart's, like, gigantic purple gear thing to shut it down. So that's what it is. They want to attack the cannon directly by going right into its fire, but using a barrier that only lasts for a few seconds while they get close enough. That's basically the idea that I get. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some YouTubers that will be like, no, you get the technicalities wrong. Actually, it's like this. But, I mean, I could care less. I'm not really that preoccupied with the technicalities of this conversation. I just really appreciate the detail that's put into it. I think that's really cool. I think that's really very dedicated on the part of the creators of Tetsuya Takahashi and the rest of the team that have made this fantastic, thoughtful game. And as you can see, I mean, at this point, we're really, as I mentioned before, through all of like the major plot twists going on. I mean, there's still a few more. It's not completely over, but I mean, we know who Faye is. We know what his purpose is. We know who it is. We know what the plan from the beginning was, and we kind of know how this is all unfolded, so to speak. So there's finally like a sense of true knowledge at this point in the game. Almost at the end, too. It's crazy. It's crazy. And of course, Choo-Choo's sitting there looking useless as usual. She's never really done much. So, yeah, Siggy's gonna fly the Excalibur, the giant battleship, which belongs to the Queen. And Zephyr still has a lot to make up for that shitty deal she made 500 years ago. I'm still holding that against her. I don't think she's redeemed herself yet. I don't think so. I think not. Well, Citan, we cut everything uncomfortably close. That's just kind of how it goes. You know this, I know this, we all know this. Just how life works sometimes. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna be, I mean, the whole thing, too, I'm sure you guys noticed, but they're talking about how, like, if we're gonna do this, you're gonna have to shut down power and all the other basics of, you know, running the ship. Like, you know, thrusters and, you know, interior lighting and weapons and defenses and, you know, hull maintenance and all this shit. Like, it's just not gonna work. You're gonna be shutting down power to everything else. And so Faye has just informed us that this will be the true final battle. It'll be where things really kind of go into their final phase. So yeah, we just saw that. Well, Grahf is, as far as we know it, he's gone, as well as Faye's dad. But Faye has reunified. He's become the contact. He knows everything. He's got 1,000-year-old memories. He's got all of his powers back. He's got Xenogears, the best gear on Earth. And so we're ready to fight. We're ready to take on God and destroy him. How is our plan going to go? Find out in the next episode of Let's Play Xenogears. This is the Benjinator, and thank you guys for watching.